Hi, I'm Lima, and I like to make YouTube videos about broken arrows. So, breaking news, today is the 10th of the 1st. I don't know why that's a weird order. It's the 10th of January 2026. Welcome everyone to the new year. And what's this, you might ask? Well, it is a win rate of 51. Okay, we'll round it up. Here's broken arrows starting up there. 51% for Russia and 49% for America. Crazy, right? Who would have thought that when the update first came out and it was a 10% difference, that the gap has narrowed to Russia being in charge here, a little diversion, little dispersion, and now we're back to today where we see Russia is back in the lead on the win rate side of things. Now, what does this actually mean? Does this mean that this huge gap that has prevailed for so many months has finally narrowed, and without any updates, have people just gotten better? Yes and no. And that's going to be the topic of the video today. I think it's pretty clear to see why. Let's get into the Omri. What sort of tactics that Russia players use just to try and narrow the gap. Oh, my bad. Let me upgrade it. 55 points. There we go. We see this too often, don't we? We see this all too often. Spammy units like this, BMP3 spam, all those different tactics. I mean, look, I gotta show you. I pasted this into here. Where's my main chat? Where we? Here we go. The main chat. Thoughts. Yeah, there's a few things here. There's a bit of Elo Inflation, and the fact that Russia players do in fact adapt and spam BMPs out. BMDs, whatever. I mean, there we go. This is actually quite a famous meme. I'm sure most people have already seen it. Mighty BMD snakes. It takes a coordinated effort. It's not something I've resorted to yet. I haven't become that desperate, but this is actually posted by the admin. Sorry, by a dev, by an STB dev called Pixie. So, yeah, this is yeah, I think everyone knows exactly what's going on here, and it's not a good thing. Just like here as well, this guy, yeah, look at his SU-34 just bombing all of those BMD-2s. It's not exactly high IQ play, it's not exactly entertaining, and I think that's where ultimately the issue lies. I think people think that it is all about the 50-50, but whilst it is, to an extent, there's a lot of things underlying this that make this basically, well, BS for starters. I mean, or sort of irrelevant. But also, just, it's not showing us the true picture. So, when we look at deployment rates, Russia, just in general, is barely played. I mean, it was played quite a lot back here. And you see all the top Elo teams basically only play America. And can you blame them? Absolutely not. So here's the deployment. I mean, Russia, well, that's just the Christmas leave. Everybody's got a bit more time during the Christmas holidays. So yeah, more players are playing, but yeah, the gap is huge. It used to be a very nicely fine-tuned gap. This is 10 months, 4 months after the game release. And yeah, obviously the division is getting bigger and bigger steadily here. You can see the gap increasing massively. And a part of it is going to be Russia players adapting, but another huge part is going to be something called Elo Inflation. If you don't know what Elo Inflation is, quite simply put, America players who used to be mediocre, because of this massive nerf to Russia, they're going to be now apparently good. So they're going to be placed against better Russia players. So let me just put this into numbers for you. So here we are. This is an old post. This post is like, I don't know, a couple of months old, something like that. But essentially it just showed us the old win rates spread out by Elo and number of games played. Sorry, yeah, here's the Elo dispersion at the bottom. Here's the number of matches and the win rate on the sides as well. So as we could see, back before the big update, the stats suggested that Russia won a lot more. Most people in this sort of bracket, so between 1,500 and 2,000. Obviously, Elo grows with time, full stop, so everybody's going to be shifting to the right anyway. But we saw that the top players were still very much had a high preference for America, because once you get past the sort of low IQ brain play, dead brain play, and you start to take this game a bit more seriously and actually try a bit, yeah, you're not going to actually have that much luck as Russia, I don't think. It's ironic, I do think that, you know, we had a tournament recently. Where is it? Let me just quickly showcase this for you. We did have a tournament recently, which was really cool. And actually the devs won it. So STB entered the game, they knocked us out the group stages, won their semi-final and won the final. So it was a very short competition, but yeah, they actually played as Russia and succeeded. Which is kind of, you know, a bit surprising, but there we go. They are the devs, they know how to work this game, and there are stuff that they were doing like Cosmic Spam and stuff like that, which is just really great to see, to be honest, because it does work, it is amazing. And I'm going to do a video about lessons learned from this competition, because I watched a lot of the games, not the group stages, but I watched a lot of the semi-finals and the finals. We've done videos about it as well. And essentially, yeah, with Elo Inflation, which is what I was actually talking about before I got completely distracted, is say you've got players that are here, so call it 1500 Elo, 1500. Essentially, what would have happened immediately after that update, where we saw that big disparity in numbers, is that Russia players would be losing, so their Elo would be dropping. So they're still the same players, obviously nerfed to the decks, etc., but they're still the same players, their skill is still relatively the same. So two players that are identical, a Russian player would move, a Russian main, by the way, this doesn't affect people as much who play both factions. Yeah, so Russian main would have moved left, and the American main would have been moved right. So what does that mean as well? So let's say the American main has been boosted to basically 2000 Elo, right? He's now playing against Russia players, Russian mains, who were at 2100, for example, and been moved down to 2000. Now, again, the skill of the actual players doesn't really change all too much with time. Obviously, there's a learning curve at the start, etc. But yeah, essentially what you've got is Americans now again played against some really, really good Russian teams, and I think this is what we see happening now. I haven't actually lost a game as Russia in quite some time, and I think that's the issue really, is the fact that American players are on an artificially high Elo, which is a strong reason, strong argument to us why we need nation-specific Elos. So there you go. What else can we diverge from the statistics? Yeah, we look at win rate of factions and specializations used. That's not going to be too important. We don't have the latest stats, unfortunately. Unit popularity is quite interesting. I mean, what we have seen is a definite reduction, although it's still annoyingly there, in the cruise missile spam, especially from the Tu-22, which, yeah, was a really annoying unit, to be fair. However, again, also, yeah, with terminal guidance working and with the ballistic nature of the cruise missile being changed, yeah, that is a good fix, but essentially, I don't think this is going to be the same at all anymore. The coalition, yeah, 100%. The B10, not so much. B15, oh, okay, with the Apoca, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're going to see this is going to be a very, very, very different sort of setup, where the units used these days are just absolutely not the same. We've got another bit of stats to show you when it comes to that. So looking at the history, at the specializations, so it used to be, again, that obviously Guards VDV, that was the go-to. It was my go-to as well, I'm not going to deny it. Again, this is 4 months after the game was released, so it's still a pretty, you know, people are starting to get quite decent at the game. And we've seen a complete 180, but in terms of, okay, so people are using armored a bit less, and, oh, okay, I guess people are starting to play Russia a bit more again. That's an interesting statistic that I didn't really think about. So the gap is slightly, deployment rate is slightly narrowing. It seems to be narrowing that way, but again, is that just because people are discovering the spam tactics? Maybe that's why VDV is getting such a big boost. When it comes to the objective of the patch to increase coastal and, well, mech usage, yeah, it's barely budged, to be honest. And coastal is such a great faction, I think it's really overlooked. But yeah, essentially the breaking news was that, I'm going to wrap this video very shortly, don't worry, was that Russia has taken over. But does that mean that Russia is now better? Absolutely not. Not a chance. It needs a major balance update. The game needs to be put into a more enjoyable state where you don't have to rely on very cheap, cheesy, boring, brain-dead spam tactics to win a battle. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers. Bye-bye.